Hello friends, it's Dave here from SaveDex with another Smash discussion. We all know that the third fighter in the second Fighters Pass is Sephiroth, and this was a surprise to me. I already recorded my thoughts about it. I will link that video in the description, so check that out after this one, and feel free to hit that subscribe button if you want to join the party and keep up with more videos like this. The main realisation that came to me though was that this is the first Fighters Pass characters out of the 8 to be a villain. I honestly didn't consider any of them being a villain to an existing franchise in Smash, except for Waluigi of course, but could you really consider him a villain? He's the unsung hero, I say. I still stand by that I want the final 3 characters to be Shantae, Crash Bandicoot and Rayman, or Waluigi in place of one of them, but my thought process was always for a third-party fighter to be the main hero of a franchise new to Smash. Now we have a villain to go opposite Cloud, and an iconic villain at that. This has opened the doors for more villains to be added. It seemed to be going that way before Ultimate's release, with Ridley, Dark Samus and K. Rool being added, so let's take a look at what villains could possibly be added to Smash from existing franchises. Some of these franchises I might gloss over simply because I don't know the games too well. I don't want to talk about villains I know nothing about and only learned about from a Google search, so I will list those series now, and please let me know in the comments which villains from these games would be good in Smash. Those are Minecraft, Fatal Fury, Dragon's Quest, Persona, Metal Gear and Earthbound. And some of them, such as Game & Watch or Wii Fit, don't really lend themselves to villains, so I won't mention them either. So let's start with the Mario series. I think we're good here because we've got Bowser, Bowser Jr, Piranha Plant, and I suppose Wario could count as well. But as I said before, Waluigi would be my choice if any. I can imagine his moveset would be based off of the Mario Sports series, but Sakurai could get really creative and come up with a completely original moveset for him like they did with Captain Falcon. But if they were to take the minion route like they did with Piranha Plant, I think Kamek would be a fun one. So many possibilities with that wand. Even a Waluigi stage could take place on Waluigi Pinball, Waluigi Stadium, or based on some sort of Mario sports game as well. For Donkey Kong we already have K. Rool added, and although there are more possibilities, I just don't think things like the Tikis or Snowmads would cut it. But if we were to take the Diddy Kong into the equation, what about Wizpig? I don't know what kind of moveset he would have since he mostly just ran and jumped and rode a rocket, but I just want more acknowledgement of Diddy Kong Racing. Imagine a stage set on Adventure Island, for example, with the other bosses in the background. But if there was to be a new Donkey Kong character added, I would much prefer it to be Dixie Kong, and she ain't a villain. On to Zelda now. Obviously we've got Ganondorf there, but there are others they could add too, such as Sant, Demise, Girahim. But I think any Zelda villain that was to be added should be Skull Kid. He would probably be a fan favourite, and he'd definitely be my pick too. I just love Majora's Mask. It makes me sad that he's an assist trophy, mostly because he's not even a good assist trophy, and that Moon assist trophy would have been perfect as his final Smash. We already have a Majora's Mask stage in Smash Bros, but I think a travelling stage around Clocktown or one set in the Lost Woods would be cool. As for Metroid, I think we're good there. I mean, we've got Ridley and Dark Samus. Star Fox has Wolf as a fighter, but I can't really think of others big enough to join unless it was someone else from Team Star Wolf. I don't think Andross would work too well. Kirby has an interesting cast of characters, and although I've played most of the Kirby games, there aren't any villains that jump to my mind straight away, so let me know if there are any picks from Kirby that would work well. On to Pokemon. Now, I have had this idea since Ultimate was first revealed and I saw Pokemon Trainer was back. What if we had another Pokemon Trainer, a bad guy one? Maybe Team Rocket? We have those Rocket Grunts as costumes, sure, but what if they were Jesse and James? And although they have appeared in games, they're mostly known from the anime, so to make it all game-based, I think it should be Giovanni. So my idea for Team Rocket is using 3 Pokemon, one of them of course being Meowth. Although Meowth is a Pokeball Pokemon, so maybe Giovanni would use Persian instead, along with Rhydon and Nidoking or Nidoqueen. Pretty much just choose 3 Pokemon from any that he uses in the games. We haven't got a normal rock or poison type in Smash yet, so the 3 I mentioned would tick those boxes, but then that would have to count as 3 fighters, wouldn't it? So maybe if we did get another Pokemon, it would just be someone from Gen 8. F-Zero could have Black Shadow, although I see him as more of an Echo fighter for Captain Falcon. I mean, it makes more sense for him to replicate Falcon's moveset than Ganondorf. On to Kid Icarus, we've got Hades or Medusa, who would be cool fighters. Although Sakurai has said before that fighters need to have originated as video game characters, so that would rule them out, wouldn't it? So maybe the Eggplant Wizard. All he would do is turn people into eggplants and it would be hilarious. On to Fire Emblem now, and I'm sure there's many eligible villains in Fire Emblem, but do we want more Fire Emblem characters in Smash now? Pikmin now, I don't know really, the Plasm Wraith, maybe? For Animal Crossing, Tom Nook, obviously, that would be pretty funny, I'd love to beat him up. Punch-Out has plenty of opponents that would make good fighters, and I think King Hippo is the standout enemy in that game. I doubt they'd get Mike Tyson in there. Maybe it would be an interesting mechanic if attacking his upper body and face did hardly any damage to him, as he always blocks it, so if you were to hit his belly as his weak point first, that's when you can do the damage to him. Xenoblade Chronicles I don't know too well either. I have played it but not all the way through, so let me know what villain characters there would be the best, but I do think if they went with that franchise, and I think they will, it would have to be Rex and Pyra. Splatoon! It would be funny to see DJ Octavio there, but I somehow doubt that will happen. If anything, we'll get the Octolimbs as Echoes. As for Sonic, I'm really surprised that he's been in 4 Smash Bros. Games, yet he hasn't had another rep from his franchise joining the battle. I would like to see it be Tails, considering Knuckles as an assist trophy, or Shadow as an Echo, but if we're going to go the villain route, then it's got to be Dr. Robotnik or Eggman to some. He'd have to be in a mech of some kind, so it would be a bit like Bowser Jr. in a way, but slower, and with rockets. His final Smash could have a cool cinematic of him using a selection of his machines from the old Sonic games, or maybe summoning Perfect Chaos, and his stage would have to be the Death Egg. Mega Man now. Let's upgrade Dr. Wily from an assist trophy to a fighter here. Just like Robotnik, he'd have to pilot some sort of machine. Or maybe Wily could be another Pokemon trainer style, where you are controlling his Robot Masters and you're swapping between them at will. So which Robot Masters would you pick? I would go with Cutman, Airman and Shadowman. Or maybe his final Smash could include a cinematic with all of the Robot Masters coming together. Wow, that would be a handful. The only problem is, other than him being an assist trophy, is that Mega Man's stage is set outside Wily's castle, and the Yellow Devil makes an appearance there, and no stage they could give to Wily would be more suitable than that one. Pac-Man? Maybe have the ghosts as a foursome enemy doing weird things. I haven't played any of the 3D Pac-Man games like Pac-Man World, so are there any villains from there they could use? Street Fighter would have M. Bison, obviously, and he'd be a cool character, but if they were to do another Street Fighter rep, I just want to see Chun-Li there. Bayonetta, I have played both games, loved them, but it has been quite a few years, but I don't remember a whole lot about them now. But I do remember Jean, and a lot of other people do too, since she's one that got mentioned a lot in the build-up to Ultimate as a potential fighter. Onto Castlevania, could we get Dracula? Even though he's a boss and stage hazard and we already have a stage of his castle. I'm not familiar with a lot of the games, so let me know if there are any cool villains that are original to Castlevania that could be added. And finally, Banjo-Kazooie. Obviously Gruntilda. I mean, she could use her broom, shoot her magic spells, maybe even throw washing machines as a fun reference. Her stage could be the top of her lair where you fought her in the first game, or really anywhere inside that lair or Isle of Hags. But if they did add Whiz-Pig, as I mentioned earlier, then it would be a double whammy of a villain, since Banjo was in Diddy Kong Racing too, so Whiz-Pig would be a cross-franchise villain that ties into both. So those are my ideas for villains that could be added to Smash. Were there any obvious ones I missed? Let me know in the comments of any franchises I didn't talk about, and hit that like and subscribe for more videos like this. Also, are there any franchises not represented in Smash where the villain is more iconic than the hero, or where you could play as the villain? If I was to choose my favourite villain out of all of these I think is most worthy to be in Smash, I would have to go with Dr. Robotnik there. But let me know which one is your favourite out of them as well. So thank you very much for watching this one. See you in the next one.